No one's probably told you this before, and it's probably not even crossed your mind that discipline can actually be the cause of your misery and your suffering. My name's Kunal, and on my channel Conversation Corner, I talk about unconventional ideas. Why would I say that something like discipline can actually make you miserable when it's really responsible for some really good results in your life? I say that with reason, and here's why you could be convinced into thinking that it may be true. When you're disciplined, you are developing an ability to act despite how you feel. So maybe you didn't feel like exercising on one day, maybe you didn't feel like eating healthy one day. So you chose to suppress that and do what is right. You chose to eat healthy and you chose to exercise. There is a consequence to be paid for this. Most of our actions are not guided by the conscious mind, they're guided by our unconscious, in which there's no division. We are not struggling against one thing. In the act of discipline, we are actually struggling against one part of our mind wanting to indulge and the other part of our mind wanting to get better and do what's needed. Now, when we do what's needed and suppress what we actually desire, that desire itself very often doesn't go away. It keeps festering there and it gathers steam. And sooner or later, you see this breakout in the form of an indulgence, in the form of a very huge cheat meal, or in the form of dropping your exercise routine all of a sudden. Do not be surprised if you see this happening with people, because this is like the pendulum swinging to the side, once again to the extreme side. So when you develop pure discipline without any interest in the activity that you do, you are fostering a lot of resentment and frustration in your subconscious, which absolutely abhors what you're doing. Which is why, although you get results, there is a lot of pent up anger towards what you could not enjoy. And sometimes it has the expression in terms of indulgences. So you may have a very huge cheat meal for a week and you may lose all your gains. You may drop your exercise routine all of a sudden and think it's okay to just indulge in being lazy and eating crap. There's a reason this doesn't happen with most lazy people. Most lazy people who lack ambition actually live with a lot of peace, or I would say tranquility, not peace, because they are able to accept themselves as they are. Lazy people who are not obsessed with self help do not live with a divided mind. So they are very consistent in their patterns of eating crap and not exercising, because of which there is no pent up psychological frustration or trauma. These are people who are absolutely unambitious. And I think that lack of ambition in their life is what helps them stay consistent in their bad habits. Please note, this is not something I'm advocating for, nor is it something I'm against. I'm just stating things as they are. A disciplined person, on the other hand, has to live in duality. A disciplined person is always fighting a tug of war between doing what is right and between what his heart wants or what his mind wants. Because of this tug of war, discipline for a short time will win a lot and it will pull the rope there. But it does not have unlimited fuel. Discipline does not run on unlimited fuel because it is a game of duality and tug of war. So by the time discipline is tired, here's where your desires and indulgences overtake you and they pull you to the other side. The reason you end up frustrated in life is because having those habits inculcated in you that uplift you have not become part of your interest. They are still part of something you see as duty. So every time you win the tug of war, let's say you make some gains, you lose some body fat, you lose some weight, your poor habits pull you back again, which is why you come across these stories of people who lose a lot of weight, put that weight on again, lose a lot of weight, put that weight on again. And I think this can be stretched to other dimensions of your life, not just exercise and eating. And the only way I see as an escape from this, if you want to rise up, 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 and up, is the enjoyment of indulgence somehow needs to overlap with the enjoyment of doing the activity that takes you up rather than the results. So, when the training regime or when the diet becomes as enjoyable as formerly eating junk food was, that is the only shot you have at escaping this yo-yo between your desires and your intellect. That's when I think you can integrate them, and that's when your struggle ends, and that's when you live in peace. And the reason this is always easier said than done is to desire something is something, but to want to desire something is something else. I don't think most of us can convince ourselves that a carrot tastes like a chocolate cake. And I think that's where all the struggle and strife in life is. So, if I were to really summarize all this in one short line, I would like to say that life gets better when the carrot tastes like chocolate cake.